Do you remember the Nokia 3310? That little brick that could fall off a 3-story building and still look at you like, is that all you've got? If you grew up in the early 2000s, Nokia wasn't just a phone brand, it was the phone brand. Nokia was everywhere. School playgrounds, offices, construction sites, your dad's belt clip, even your mom's handbag. And here's the crazy part. At its peak, Nokia controlled 40% of the global mobile phone market. That means almost half of the world was using a Nokia device. 40%. Let that sink in. Yet today, Nokia is basically a ghost in the smartphone world. It went from being the king of mobile phones to barely existing as a footnote in tech history. So what happened? How does a company this powerful, this popular, and this untouchable collapse so fast and so dramatically? This is the rise and fall of Nokia and why it never recovered. Grab a snack because this one is wild. Before Nokia became the king of mobile phones, it was actually a paper mill. Yep. Nokia started in 1865 as a wood pulp business in Finland, then rubber boots, then cables, then electronics. And by the 1990s, they were dominating the mobile phone world like no one else. Nokia didn't just make phones, they built a culture around reliability. Their devices were indestructible, long-lasting, affordable, easy to use, stylish for their TIM, and then came Symbian OS. Remember it? The menu with the little icons, the sound effects, the snake game? Symbian was the iOS and Android of its time. It powered Nokia devices all over the world and gave them a massive lead over everyone else. But success doesn't last forever. And for Nokia, the downfall began the moment they thought they were unbeatable. In 2007, Steve Jobs walked on stage holding a device that would literally change the world, the iPhone. Now, most tech companies looked at the iPhone and panicked. But Nokia, they laughed. Executives brushed it off like a toy. They said things like, "People will never give up physical keyboards. Touchscreens are a gimmick. Our ecosystem is too big to fail." Famous last words. Nokia saw the future coming and walked the other way. Meanwhile, Apple was redefining what a phone could be, and Google was quietly building Android into a monster. Here's where things really started to fall apart. Symbian was legendary, but it was old. It was designed for simple phones, not the powerful app-based smartphones people were beginning to want. Engineers inside Nokia were practically begging leadership to build a new OS. But upper management refused. They kept saying, "Symbian works. Why change what isn't broken?" Except, it was broken. Developers hated writing apps for it. It didn't support modern touchscreens properly. It was complicated, inconsistent, and slow to update. Meanwhile, iOS felt smooth. Android was exploding. Consumers wanted apps, and Nokia couldn't keep up. The world was changing and Nokia was standing still. This part of the story is honestly tragic. Behind the scenes, Nokia was a war zone. Departments were fighting each other instead of the competition. Hardware teams didn't like the software teams. Software teams didn't talk to management. Managers were scared of taking risks. Engineers were overworked and ignored. One former Nokia engineer said, "There were too many bosses and not enough vision." The company became slow, political, and scared. And when companies get scared, they make terrible decisions. Fast forward to 2010. Nokia's new CEO, Stephen Elop, formerly from Microsoft, realizes the company is sinking fast. He writes one of the most brutal memos in tech history. The burning platform memo. He said Nokia was standing on a burning oil rig, and their only option was to jump or die. It was harsh, but accurate. Symbian was outdated. The internal culture was collapsing. Apple and Android were eating everyone alive. So Elop decides to jump. Instead of choosing Android, instead of building their own OS from scratch, Nokia shocked the world. They partnered with Microsoft to build Windows Phone devices. Now, Windows Phone was cool, don't get me wrong. The tiles, the animations, the interface, super clean. But there was one problem. Nobody wanted it. Developers didn't support it. Apps didn't exist. Customers didn't understand it. Carriers weren't pushing it. And Nokia invested everything into it. They killed Symbian. They killed Mego, their most promising OS. They put all their eggs in Microsoft's basket, and that basket fell off the cliff. By the time Nokia realized Windows Phone couldn't save them, it was already too late. Between 2007 and 2013, Nokia's global market share fell from 40% to 3%. That's not a decline, that's a free fall. By 2013, Nokia was losing billions. They were forced to sell their entire mobile phone business to Microsoft for $7.2 billion. The king of phones sold off like a failing startup. It was heartbreaking. And to add salt to the wound, a few years later, Microsoft wrote off the entire deal, meaning they basically admitted, "We wasted our money. This was a mistake." Nokia phones were officially dead. After the collapse, Nokia tried to reinvent itself. They tried Android phones, they licensed their brand, they made feature phones again. But the world had changed. Apple had iMessage, FaceTime, the App Store. Android had Samsung, Xiaomi, Huawei, and a universe of apps. There was simply no space left for Nokia. The duopoly was locked in. What people don't realize is that Nokia is still alive, but not in the way you think. They now focus on telecom infrastructure, 5G networks, cell towers, fiber. They're doing fine. But the phone era? Gone forever. They're like Kodak or Blockbuster. Companies that saw the future, but reacted too late. Let's simplify everything into 3 points. 1. They underestimated the iPhone. Nokia believed their hardware dominance would protect them. It didn't. 2. They stuck with old software too long. Symbian was great until it wasn't. 3. They chose the wrong partner. The Microsoft deal killed any chance of recovery. Behind all of this was a deeper issue. Nokia lost its ability to innovate. They got comfortable, they stopped taking risks. They forgot that in tech, you evolve or you die. Despite everything, Nokia deserves respect. They gave millions of people their first phone. They built devices that lasted decades. They connected the world long before smartphones existed. And even though they collapsed, their impact will never be forgotten. Ask anyone over 25 about their first phone. 8 out of 10 will say, Nokia. That's not failure, that's legacy. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Nokia's rise and collapse, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more tech stories just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.